black town in America, built to protect those escaping slavery.
If they made it to Brooklyn, they were free.
The powerful story of its fearless founder and the fight to preserve its 200-year legacy. Plus, power struggle at City Hall. Why a fight over parking revenue is leaving the city's tow program stuck in neutral. A new resource center opens its doors in North St. Louis.
We need a lot of hope in this community, and this gives people so much hope.
How the major investment is fueling a new chapter of growth and opportunity for a community still recovering from the May tornado. And we start tonight looking ahead to a wild weekend for weather. Over the next 48 hours, we'll be going from 70 degrees to snow. Thanks so much for joining us at 10. I'm Kelly Jackson. We've been tracking this system all week, and tonight meteorologist Lance Blocker says the snow chances have only increased. This has been a tricky week, Lance.
Yeah, this system here taking shape over the last 48 hours or so. Forecast models have been adjusting with the latest data. We still expect it to be Sunday night into Monday morning. Most locations not experiencing widespread impacts, though we could see a few locations with some slick roads. So again, stay tuned because we're going to continue to see the data change over the next 48 hours or so. But we have seen an uptick in that snow potential for Sunday night. In the meantime, though, Saturday is really looking good once again. Today's highs were in the mid-70s. We won't be like that, but tomorrow's high temperatures will top out in the low 60s across the area as a cold front moves to the region. That sets up that colder air mass for the potential for a wintry mix. Cold rain most likely down to the south. This is the primary zone that we're watching here across our central portions of our region, and then a wet snow to the north. Again, some of this data has changed. Watch this new update here come in, shifting that a little bit further south. I'm going to go over that in detail and what to expect the rest of the weekend. Then an active weather pattern next week. That's all coming up.
And you can track the weather impact forecast anytime you need it. Text the word weather to 314-425-5355. We'll send a link straight to your phone. Tonight, we are working to learn more about a series of fires that broke out in Wellston and happened hours ago on Oak Grove Avenue. Now, it's on the same block where a fire claimed the life of a man earlier this week. Victims at the scene confirmed to 5 on your side multiple homes were impacted. No injuries have been reported. Right now, the cause of the fire remains under investigation. Tomorrow's the deadline for people impacted by the May 16th tornado to apply to the city's Property Assistance Program. The program provides up to $50,000 to help homeowners with repair work. You can submit your application online or in person at the STL Recovers Outreach Center. Tomorrow is also the last day for the city's curbside removal program. A major investment is taking root in North St. Louis. Today, a massive new resource hub officially opened its doors on Goodfellow Boulevard. As 5 on your side's Brent Solomon explains, it's a moment of hope for a community still recovering from last year's devastating tornado after decades of disinvestment.
Welcome to the Northside Movement Center, transforming this 36,000 square foot former church family center into a permanent home for advocacy and healing. It's a joint venture between Arch City Defenders and Action St. Louis.
Action St. Louis's building burned down back in 2019, and they were looking for a new space. We're so excited to welcome St. Louis into this space.
Inside the $2.9 million investment, boardrooms, wellness, and co-working spaces. Rooms strategically named after North City neighborhoods like College Hill and the Ville. Organizers say the location was a deliberate choice, investing in an area where other businesses have not.
It was never a question of where that home would be. We have always said that North City is the North Star. North City holds stories of resistance, brilliance, struggle, and possibility.
The timing is critical. North St. Louis remains the epicenter of tornado recovery. While the city says millions in recovery funds will roll out in earnest come March, many residents say they're still dealing with the debris and housing instability.
If people need to come here and take showers and wash clothes, that's also available.
Beyond advocating for disaster relief and human rights, the center provides a base for legal services and community organizing.
It's a love letter to the people and communities in this region that have been neglected, that have been overlooked, and that have been counted out. And we also know what's possible when we build together and have each other's backs.
We need a lot of hope in this community, and this gives people so much hope.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And the celebration continues tomorrow with a fundraising luncheon hosted by Friends of Northside. Organizers say more programming and community events will be announced in the coming months as they settle into their new home. Well, remember that abandoned car with more than $8,000 in parking tickets? Our investigation eventually led it to be towed away, and now is triggering a political war at St. Louis City Hall. With millions in parking revenue at stake, the mayor wants to strip the treasurer of parking enforcement. And while they fight over who controls it, restarting the city's tow program has hit another roadblock. Our political editor Mark Maxwell explains the reason in a story you will only see on 5 on your side.
The car that started this investigation was finally towed Tuesday morning, hours after our story went to air. 9 months, nearly $9 grand in tickets.
It's a huge problem.
The mayor's solution? Take parking enforcement away from the independently elected city treasurer and consolidate it under her authority. It would be a fundamental restructuring of how St. Louis government operates.
You know, I personally think that it's quite unfortunate and ridiculous that parking enforcement is handled in a siloed office that isn't controlled by the mayor's office. And the other.
I'd like to see that power leave the treasurer's office, and you'd like to use that power?
I would, yes, absolutely. I mean, I think every other city in the United States operates that way.
What Spencer doesn't mention, control of parking means control of millions in revenue. 60% stays with the treasurer, 40% goes to the city. Spencer faces a budget crisis. Police want more money, and layoffs loom large. The treasurer controls a revenue stream that could help. The city's chief financial watchdog says that is revenue the city's simply leaving on the table. When the tickets under the windshield wiper can total the car, Comptroller Donna Berenger says that raises serious questions about whether the system is being properly managed and whether the city is receiving the revenue it depends on.
It's not only missed revenue, Mark. I mean, these cars are literally littering our streets. And so we've got to have a mechanism to get them off the streets.
Why does that matter to you? Berenger says that money helps pay for essential services and could help the city patch potholes, empty trash, or just hire the manpower to do the job. The mayor says the solution is obvious. Just take action and enforce the rules.
And we have capacity at the tow lot, and we should be utilizing it.
The treasurer is hitting back. He says the mayor, quote, doesn't understand parking enforcement, and she may not have the power to take the parking division away from him. But our investigation found the real reason the enforcement hasn't begun again is a dispute over auction proceeds, the money. The treasurer wants a cut when abandoned cars are sold at auction, and the streets department so far has not agreed. While those two departments argue over money, hundreds of vehicles remain on the streets.
It was founded on the promise of freedom. Long before the Civil War ended, an Illinois town stood as a beacon for those escaping the shackles of Missouri slavery. Melanie Johnson shows us almost 2 centuries later, the woman known as the mother of black towns is fighting to be remembered.
Well, Kelly, what an honor to tell this story during Black History Month. Secret doors to the Underground Railroad just across the Mississippi River from the St. Louis skyline. Brooklyn, Illinois, the first black incorporated town in America. Despite being left out of the history books, those who call it home refuse to let it die as they pull together to restore the legacy beneath their feet. Magnolia Mason Johnson, the oldest living resident in the oldest black town in America.
92 years old.
A matriarch whose fingers trace the history she's kept.
Brooklyn is all I know.
Each page a testimony to the place she's called home since 1933.
If they made it to Brooklyn, they were free.
In 1829, freemen and fugitive slaves settled in what's now Brooklyn. Founder Priscilla Baltimore called it Freedom Village.
Priscilla Baltimore.
Mother of Black Brooklyn.
The daughter of a slave owner buying her own freedom in Missouri for $500.
She was like a little Harriet Tubman.
Baltimore led 11 enslaved families across the Mississippi River to a life without shackles, relying on the safety of Quinn Chapel, one of the oldest African Methodist Episcopal churches in the Midwest.
Our church was again one of the stops
for those seeking freedom.
A reminder of its role as a passageway on the Underground Railroad. For Anita Hall, the first daughter of Brooklyn to be named pastor.
A lot of people don't know about this being up here in this pulpit.
Underneath the altar's floorboards, a secret door.
Be careful, because they steep.
Down the steps, an artery, a gateway to the north.
To know that my ancestors came through here, it gives me chills.
Shoulders carrying the weight of 197 years. While the legacy remains, the landscape ripped apart by railroad expansion and decades of disinvestment.
All that's gone. No drugstore, no grocery store. We don't have that anymore.
It just breaks my heart right now.
But pride in Brooklyn runs deep.
And let's bring our town back. Let's bring our history to the forefront again. I want to see Brooklyn build back up to where it used to be.
What's next for Brooklyn? Well, development, building, growth, evolution. There is no place like home.
The plan is to rebuild Freedom Village brick by brick.
This is where, if that gate was open, you see that road? That's the way they came from Missouri over here to Illinois. Right straight through here.
We're just making room for what's next.
Not just as a memorial to the families who crossed that road in 1829, but to honor Brooklynites of today and tomorrow.
My dream for Brooklyn is progress.
That's my dream, truly.
With nearly a century of hope in her hands, Miss Magnolia knows the story of America's first black town is still being written.
It's not just Brooklyn's history, it's American history.
A town that's been a part of America for a long time, a 1908 edition of the Seattle Republican calling Brooklyn a, quote, Negro city governed exclusively by Negroes.
And we have an entire special dedicated to Black History Month right now on our free streaming app. Learn how to download it by scanning the QR code that you see right on your screen. You can also find it by searching KSDK in your device's app store. Your insurance plan may look the same, but hidden changes could affect your wallet.
They work with different doctors, different pharmacies. They may even cover different medications.
The 5 proven ways experts say you can avoid overpaying for health care.
While we're focused on this weekend's winter storm, we're also tracking an increased chance of widespread rain next week. Up to 4 inches of rain is possible. We've got your latest detailed forecast coming up next.
A big shakeup in tech with some of the apps you probably use. The company Block behind Square, Cash App, Afterpay is getting rid of 40% of its staff. So we're talking about 4,000 jobs gone. Why that is? Well, Jack Dorsey says it's AI. Smaller teams using intelligence can do more, do better, and work faster. Now, Block isn't struggling. Profits are actually growing right now, but Dorsey believes that most companies will soon adopt this model. Employees
It's not just groceries and rent. Healthcare is putting new pressure on budgets in 2026. Across public and private insurance plans, many people face higher premiums and out-of-pocket costs. In tonight's Making Ends Meet report, Michelle Lee reveals 5 smart steps to lower medical bills and avoid paying more than you have to.
Whether it's your monthly premium bill, prescriptions, or copays, millions are paying more for healthcare. Even if you didn't switch your insurance for 2026, you might be in for costly changes. Lisa Gill is an investigative reporter with Consumer Reports. She says there are a few things that you can do to cut healthcare costs, starting by taking some time to understand what the plan you chose covers.
Plans change every year. They work with different doctors, different pharmacies. They may even cover different medications from year to year.
To avoid unexpected charges, you'll want to work with doctors and hospitals that are in-network and have partnered with your insurance to offer pre-negotiated rates. Most insurance websites have a Find a Doctor tool, and you can always call the clinic of your choice to verify they'll accept your plan. And if you take prescription meds, don't just refill and pay. Ask your doctor or pharmacist if there's a generic option and whether there are manufacturer coupons or other discounts. That can mean instant savings every month. And remember, generics have to meet the same safety and effectiveness standards as brand name drugs. If you're overwhelmed by a hospital bill, ask about financial assistance or charity care. Many hospitals have programs that can reduce your balance or even wipe it out, depending on your income.
One heads up, you may have to apply several times to prove that you're qualified.
Finally, don't overlook your community health center. These nonprofit clinics offer primary care. Some also provide dental and mental health services, focusing on uninsured, underinsured, and low-income patients. And many charge on a sliding fee scale based on your income and family size. Michelle Lee, 5 on your side.
Experts say you may also want to consider creating a health savings account or a flexible spending account. Both save you money by letting you contribute pre-tax money from your paycheck to cover eligible healthcare costs like deductibles, over-the-counter medications, and even contact lens supplies. Meteorologist Lance Blocker is here with the weather impact forecast. We're going from kind of like spring, summer tomorrow to winter on Sunday.
Yeah, and then back to really the Amazon as we get into next week with a lot of rain, and it's going to be warmer as well. All right, a live look here. Downtown looking good here on this Friday evening. It's been a great day today. Temperatures topped out in the low to mid 70s across the area. We're still at 58 degrees at this hour, so mild conditions, no doubt, especially for the final week of February. But big changes do arrive by the second half of Sunday. High temperature Sunday afternoon will top out in the mid 40s. But as the overnight hours settle in, we'll see colder air settle in. And that could lead to a wintry mix overnight on Sunday night. And then that system will exit out of here, warm back up with widespread rain Tuesday through at least Friday. All right, let's go and key in on this winter storm setup for us here over the next 48 hours or so. This is what we've been watching closely. It's the vertical profile of the atmosphere as it pertains to temperatures. Where it's below freezing, that's further north, of course, throughout the entire atmosphere from the surface all the way up to the clouds, that falls as snow. Where you get what we call a warm nudge here, warm nose, that's where you actually get above freezing and below freezing and below freezing and get mixed precipitation, rain, sleet, and snow in that region. And then if you head down further south, it's all rain. We've been watching that very closely. That data has changed over the last 48 hours. Let me show you how. As we zoom on in, this is one of the high resolution forecast models. So we stay dry for the most part on Sunday. Actually, Sunday might be pretty nice outside, just a little bit chilly with highs in the mid 40s. Then we see that precipitation move in. You can see that cold air pushing south. This is through about 10 o'clock on Sunday. This is subject to change timing wise, but this is what one of the high resolution models has. Then remember that warm nose of air in the upper parts of the atmosphere? That winds out and actually pushes north. So you see the snow change back over to liquid precipitation at 3 a.m. on Monday morning. All of this pushes eastbound. So for all of that to say this was what our thinking was the last couple of days here, with a thin zone of a wintry mix with more snow in the extreme north and then widespread cold rain down in the south. We've adjusted this slightly, not a huge change. We're not talking about widespread heavy snow to the north, but still a little bit of a trend with this further south. We're going to hold off on snow totals. I don't think it's anything impressive, but I do expect to see at least some snow totals, some accumulation to the north. Of course, the ground is warm after today. We're not looking at anything widespread, nothing too heavy, but heavier snow. If it does fall to the north, we could see some, maybe an inch or two. We'll fine-tune that in the days ahead. Looking ahead to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it is an active weather setup. There's a trough moving in. That is going to develop multiple rounds of rain. We could see upwards of 4 to 5 inches of rain by this finally wrapping up. So normally the month of March, we get about 4 inches of rain. The upcoming week, we might hit that mark in the first week of March. It's going to be an active next few weeks. We'll keep you updated.
I know you all will.
Lots of data.
Okay, thanks, Lance. Here's Zach with sports.
Hey, party people. We got a Big Ten battle up next. Illinois hosting Michigan, plus the Mid-States Challenge Cup final. Lots of sports coming your way next. The Michigan Wolverines could clinch the Big Ten regular season title, but to do that, they got to take down these guys right here. No doubt, this is the college basketball game of the night. Illinois hosting the #3 team from Ann Arbor. Keaton Wagler getting Illini fans fired up. Big triple and the foul. The freshman had a game-high 23 points. Later on, Big Blue answers. Yaxel Landenberg, big and one of his own right here. He had 16 points in total for Michigan. Into the second half, Illinois trying to rally. Jake Davis hits a huge three to cut it to 6, but Michigan far too technical. Morez Johnson Jr., the former Illini, big dunk. Michigan holds Illinois to a 41% field goal percentage. They win big. Cardinal spring training, Quinn Matthews getting the start against the Mets. He had a pretty solid outing, 2 2/3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 earned run. The SoCal kid had a few walks as well, but always nice to see stuff from him. 4th inning, Cards down 2-0. Nathan Church climbing the ladder. Give me that. Fantastic web gem from the outfield prospect. Later on, another youngin getting his chance to shine. J.J. Weatherholt has been called a contact hitter. He's got the power here. A solo shot, make it 2-1. But the Mets dialing it up offensively. MJ Melendez, 3-run dinger. The Mets throttle St. Louis in Jupiter. High school hockey time. Chaminade and DeSmet for the Challenger Cup Championship. Colton Rube starts the scoring off. Red Devils ahead 1-0. They would add to that lead. How about Liam Power, the one-timer? Beautiful stuff. Chaminade out to a fiery start, but the Spartans there to battle back. Miles Heller, right place, right time. Perfect shot to get DeSmet back in this game. And later on, a great save from Colin McNamee, but the Spartans cleaning up the chaos. Colin Verrady equalizes. This game was insane, as if you already can't tell. DeSmet would take the lead. Ray Rock sniping the top corner. Spartans up 3-2, but this game just kept on giving. Eric Ewing, the rebound. He scores. This game would go on to overtime. Chaminade wins. It's their first Challenge Cup title in school history. On to high school hoops. Our game of the night on the hardwood. Webster Groves and Marquette. The Statesmen starting to take over in the second half. Scotty Atkinson elevating, grabbing iron. He had a magnificent game. You just saw one dunk. Moments later, how about another one? Only needs one hand this time. The junior finished with 29 points. Mustangs trying to answer back. Brady Owen dishing to Parker Hoffman. Triple, cash money. But the Statesmen were too much. Bryson Millian stealing, slamming. Webster Groves does damage. They win their 6th conference title in 7 years. City FC has played 2 matches ever against San Diego. They failed to secure a win in both of those matchups last year. St. Louis's finest footballers are on their way to Cali to try to change that this weekend. City SC opened their season with a draw against Charlotte. The Reds outshot the Crown 22-8. That would indicate they're trending in the right direction offensively. Coach Yohan Dame has loved the product thus far and thinks some extended rest is really going to help his crew.
It's been really good. Really happy with where we're at this week. A little different with the game being on Sunday. I think it was good to get the guys 2 days off to recover from a long preseason and spend some time with their families. Very happy with the work we've done so far. There is one more day of preparation tomorrow, and I think we're in a good place.
That game on Sunday is going to be a little late. Sunday night, 8:15 kickoff time, folks.
Here?
Get ready.
Here or in San Diego?
No, in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Thanks a lot, Zach. We'll be right back. It's nearly the end of the ski season at Hidden Valley. Today, the resort confirms Sunday will be its last day until next winter. It was a historic ski season for the resort, which had its earliest open in about 25 years in December. The resort says it will operate during regular operating hours for its final 2 days. However, Sunday...
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
it's
they're going to
possible.
be ending, with
Petition
snow.
for an extension.
Right.
Yeah, maybe one extra day. I don't know. Well, let's go and check it out right now. Weather impact alert comes into effect Sunday night. It expires Monday morning. That brief winter storm will give way to a lot of rain and a few storms Tuesday through the end of the month. It's going to be an active next week or so. There's a trough digging in that leads to the additional rain. A lot of rain, up to about 4 or 5 inches.
Yuck.
I know.
Yeah, yuck
Not
is
looking
the right
forward
word.
to that. None of us are. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. We're always streaming on your phone and television. Start your day with Today in St. Louis, the weekend edition that starts at 6 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.